Jason had always dreamed of owning a house in the countryside, a place where he could escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. When he found the old, Victorian-style home nestled in a small, secluded village, it seemed perfect. The price was surprisingly low, but he didn't question it too much, chalking it up to a stroke of good luck. The house was grand yet eerie, with its tall, arched windows and ivy-covered walls. The villagers seemed friendly, though they often cast worried glances when he mentioned where he was living. Jason shrugged it off, assuming it was just small-town superstition about the old place. On the first night, as Jason settled into his new home, a sense of unease began to creep over him. He tried to ignore it, attributing it to the new surroundings and the old house's creaky structure. But then he heard it, a faint scratching sound, almost like nails on wood. It seemed to come from the walls, and no matter how hard he listened, he couldn't pinpoint its origin. Determined to get to the bottom of the noise, Jason decided to explore the house more thoroughly. He started in the basement, a dark and musty place filled with forgotten furniture and cobweb-covered boxes. As he navigated through the clutter, he stumbled upon an old, dusty chest in the corner. With a sense of curiosity and dread, he opened the chest to find a collection of old photographs and letters. The faces in the photos seemed familiar, yet hauntingly distant. As he sifted through the contents, he discovered a letter addressed to the previous owner, warning them to leave the house immediately and never return. Jason's heart pounded in his chest as he read the letter. What had happened to the previous owner? And why had they left in such a hurry? Little did Jason know, this was just the beginning of the horrifying secrets that his new home held. Jason couldn't shake off the feeling that the house was watching him. The discovery of the ominous letter added to his growing unease. Determined to uncover the truth, he decided to delve deeper into the house's history. The scratching sounds from the walls persisted, growing more intense as nights passed. One particularly dark and stormy night, Jason heard the scratching again, but this time, it was accompanied by faint whispers. Gritting his teeth, he grabbed a flashlight and headed down to the basement. The shadows cast by the flickering light seemed to dance and twist in unnatural ways, heightening the sense of dread. In the corner of the basement, where he had found the chest, Jason noticed something peculiar. The wall near the chest had a different texture, as if it was concealing something. With a deep breath, he began to pry at the wall, and after a few minutes, a hidden door revealed itself. Jason's heart raced as he pushed the door open, revealing a narrow, dimly lit corridor. The air was thick with the smell of mildew and something else, something metallic. As he ventured deeper, the whispers grew louder, filling his ears with unintelligible murmurs. At the end of the corridor, he found a small, windowless room. In the center of the room was an old, decrepit chair with leather restraints and an array of surgical tools scattered on a rusty metal table. Bloodstains marred the walls, and the floor was littered with old, faded photographs of terrified faces. Suddenly, the door behind him slammed shut with a deafening bang, and the room was plunged into darkness. Panic set in as he fumbled with his flashlight, the beam flickering sporadically. The whispers became more distinct, morphing into a chorus of tortured screams. Just as Jason thought he was about to lose his mind, he noticed something in the corner of the room, a hidden camera, its red light blinking ominously. Realization hit him like a ton of bricks, he was being watched. The terror of the house was not just in his mind, it was being orchestrated by someone, or something, hidden within the walls. Jason's pulse raced as he absorbed the reality of his situation. The knowledge that someone was watching his every move filled him with dread. Fighting the urge to panic, he examined the room more closely. Amid the disturbing relics of the past, a filing cabinet caught his eye, tucked away in a shadowed corner. He approached the cabinet cautiously, the metal creaking as he pulled open the top drawer. Inside, he found a stack of old, yellowed files, each labeled with a date and a name. Jason flipped through them, feeling a chill as he recognized some of the names from the photographs he had found earlier. As he read through the files, he discovered detailed records of experiments and notes on each individual. The handwriting was erratic, almost manic, describing procedures that were both gruesome and inhumane. Jason's stomach turned as he realized that the previous owner of the house had been conducting these horrifying experiments on unsuspecting victims. One file stood out from the rest. It was more recent and contained a list of names with dates next to them. His breath caught in his throat as he saw his own name at the bottom of the list, with today's date written in bold, red ink. A loud noise echoed through the corridor, startling him. He turned to see the door at the end of the passageway slowly opening, revealing a figure standing in the shadows. Jason's flashlight flickered and died, plunging him into darkness. The whispers returned, louder and more insistent than ever, filling his ears and making it hard to think. He felt a cold hand brush against his arm and stumbled backward, dropping the file. In the dim light from the camera's red blinking light, he saw the figure move closer, and the whispers turned into a low, menacing growl. With a surge of adrenaline, Jason bolted for the door, his heart pounding in his chest. He slammed the door shut behind him and raced up the stairs, desperate to escape the horrors lurking in the basement. Jason's heart pounded as he raced up the stairs, away from the horrifying secrets of the basement. The whispers and growls seemed to follow him, echoing through the narrow corridor. He reached the main floor and slammed the basement door shut, leaning against it as he tried to catch his breath. He knew he had to get out of the house, but something kept him there, a morbid curiosity and a sense of responsibility to uncover the full truth. Jason grabbed his phone and frantically searched for any information about the house or its previous owner. To his dismay, there was almost nothing available online, only vague mentions and ghost stories. Determined, he decided to visit the local library the next day, hoping to find more concrete information. That night, he barricaded himself in his bedroom, but sleep was elusive. Every creak and groan of the house set him on edge, and the ever-present whispers gnawed at his sanity. Morning came slowly, and Jason wasted no time heading to the library. The librarian, an elderly woman with a knowing look in her eyes, seemed hesitant when he mentioned the house. She led him to a dusty corner of the library, where old newspapers and town records were kept. As he sifted through the archives, Jason stumbled upon a series of articles about mysterious disappearances in the village, all linked to the house. The previous owner, a reclusive scientist named Dr. Harlow, had been suspected of conducting illegal experiments on human subjects. However, due to lack of evidence, the case was never officially closed. Among the records, Jason found a hidden journal belonging to Dr. Harlow. It detailed the experiments and hinted at a dark force that the doctor had unleashed within the house. Jason's blood ran cold as he read about the twisted rituals and the entity that Dr. Harlow had inadvertently summoned, a malevolent presence that thrived on fear and suffering. Jason knew he couldn't stay in the house any longer, but he also realized that leaving without confronting the entity could spell doom for anyone who might move in after him. He needed a plan to banish the malevolent force and free the house from its curse. I'll do part 5 if I get 100 likes.